Hello and welcome to another Barb Stamps video. Today's video is my monthly Totally Techniques online club project. So we are going to be making the project for my Totally Techniques online club in this video. And how you become a Totally Techniques online club member is you purchase a minimum $30 from me in the month between the 1st and 22nd using my host code provided on my blog. And then you let me know that you want to be part of the club. And then I will add you to my list, and each month that you order, I will send you a greeting card using the technique of the month, along with an instruction card with a sample of the technique and the instructions how to do it. I will also email you a link to this particular video so that you will have it in your email that you can watch it whenever you need to learn how to make the technique. And when you've purchased from me consecutively for 6 months, I will then gift you with a $30 gift certificate to purchase anything you want out of our catalogs. Our brand new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine will be released on September 1st. I will be using it in today's video, and I will talk a little bit more about that. Now, my color combination for today's video came from the Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper, which is included in my Create Where You Are monthly kit. I happen to have these reference sheets that I put together, and I do sell these. They are $30. You receive the white piece of cardstock printed with the information. You receive all the pieces of Designer Series paper. You will need to cut these in half and flip one so you can put them together, and then the cardstock circles. I sell them for $30. The link is in the description of this video. So when I was looking for my color combination, I happened to be looking at this paper, and I saw these three colors just sitting right here, and I thought, you know what? Those look really nice together. And so that's what I'm going to use. They're Pretty Peacock, Bumblebee, and Cajun Craze. So here is our brand new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It is amazing, if I do say so myself. The platforms both fold up nicely, so it is easily transported. It does have non-stick pads on the bottom, and I will give you guys a little bit of a tip. Of course, as paper crafters, we are cutting paper constantly, and paper produces tiny, tiny dust bits. They will get on your little pads on your machine, and it could cause it to slide around a little bit. All you have to do to remove all that dust is I just take a piece of Scotch tape, press it on top of the pads, and then it is totally sticky again. Like I said, the platforms fold down to be flush on your table. We have the handle right here, and it's a very sturdy machine. Now, I have had wonderful luck with this machine. I used to use a Big Shot machine, and when I would use my Big Shot machine, a lot of times my dies would not cut all the way through. I have not had that problem with this machine here. Everything I run through one time, doesn't matter where it is on my platform, it cuts like a dream. We are going to be using these dies from the Stitched Leaves die set, and I'm going to be using multiple colors, like I said, Pretty Peacock, Cajun Craze, and Bumblebee. So what I decided to do was to cut all of the leaves out of each color to begin with. So we will do that on this piece of peacock. Okay. And I have used some washi tape to keep these two pieces together. So I have the inside layer that actually does the stitching, and then the outside layer that does the die cutting. And so I'm just going to place these on my paper, and then we will run them through. Now, of course, I need to make sure they're on the paper. So I'll just place them where they fit nicely. Alrighty. So to build my sandwich in this machine, each piece is numbered. This is number 1. This is number 2. The cutting plates are number 3. And then we have an embossing plate that is a number 4. So to build this, I just look at my diagram here, and I am using thin dies. So it says I need platform 1, layer 2, 2 number 3s, and my paper and dies in the middle. So I have my sandwich put together. Whoops, I'm going to need to fix these again. They did move around a little bit. I will top it with my other number 3 cutting pad. Everything lines up nicely in the machine, and then I will run it through. This is a little tighter than my old Big Shot machine, and I think that's very helpful because I'm pretty sure that's why the thing cuts as well as it does. Okay. So we'll take the plates off, and look at that. The dies just fall off, and the pieces just come right out. And you can see with my washi tape on there, my dies stay together so I can use them again in the same fashion. All right, so I have already die cut the colors that I need. Here we have, I have a few out of Cajun Craze, some Bumblebee. You'll notice that this one is only a partial leaf, but I'm just going to end up using that on an edge. All right, so here's where we do the technique. It's called Inlaid Embossing. So you're going to take a piece of Very Vanilla. In this case, my piece is 3 by 5 1/4. And I am going to start layering my leaves on the piece of cardstock. Let's just see what we want to do here. And you have lots of choices because, like I said, I did run it through 3 different colors. So I have 3 colors to play with in deciding where I want to place all of my leaves. I think that looks pretty good to start with. I may end up bringing this piece in just on the edge. Move these down just a touch. And then if I have some space at the top here, I'll go ahead and add just a tip of that. Now, I recommend using a liquid glue when you're placing these pieces down because you want them to be stuck all the way around. So I recommend covering the entire piece with the glue. Now, I didn't use a ton of glue. I just used a little bit. A thin bead is all you need. And I'm actually going to go ahead and lift this up and place it on my silicone mat. That way, if I have any excess glue from any of these leaves, it'll get on my silicone mat, not on my stamping surface that I'm working on here. So again, we're going to add glue to every piece. Whoops, we need a little more there and maybe some down the stem. And we're going to go ahead and add these through. So I'm going to go ahead and finish gluing these down. So I'll speed up the video just a tad. And this little leaf here, I'm only doing the very edges because I'm only going to put on a tiny bit of it. Okay. So then when you have all of your pieces, flip it over, press them all into place really nicely. And then we're going to trim off the excess. So you can see there's all this excess here. And we're just going to trim that off. You could use a paper trimmer if you want. I just find scissors work just as well. Okay. Oh, look at that. I didn't even glue this on. Hold on. How did that work out? Okay. Snip that off. And there we have our layer. So now we are ready to do some embossing. So I'm going to bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back in. I'm going to bring in my plates. And I immediately see when I'm looking at plate number 2, do not use with embossing folders. Fine, not a problem. We won't use it. Then on this plate here, it tells me how to use it with embossing folders. It tells me to insert the embossing folders hinge first. That's to protect the hinges so they don't snap apart. Then it tells me how to make my sandwich. I need platform 1, which I have right here, 2 number 3 cutting plates, which I have, and then my folder with my paper in the middle. So I will go ahead and set that up. So I am going to be using one of the wrapped in texture embossing folders. I'm going to be using this kind of crosshatch pattern right here. I find when you do inlaid embossing, you want a very detailed pattern because it will show up a lot better. So here's that folder. I'm going to slide my paper in. I'm going to put it in like it tells me, hinge first. I'm going to cover it with my second pad. And we're going to run it through. Okay. Then we'll open that up. Whoops, my fingernails are non-existent. So let me try to, there we go. And then look at that amazing detail that we get. Well, I realized my video quit right after I pulled this out of the die cutting machine. So as you can see, the detail in that is just amazing. Both sides look very cool. I then went ahead and I have a 1 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece of our metallic cardstock. That comes in a package of 6 pieces in 3 colors, 2 of each. So we have bronze, copper, and gold. And for this project, I'm using gold. So what I did was I took my 1-inch piece of copper, or of the gold metallic paper. I butted those two together and I put Scotch tape on the seam so that they are now together. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some ribbon and we're going to cover this seam. So I'm going to use our Bumblebee ribbon. So let me just tie a little knot here. I like nice tight ribbons on my projects, and so I find if I can tie them off of the project, I personally have a lot better luck. Some people can tie a beautiful knot right on the cardstock and make it nice and tight. I struggle with that. So I'm just going to use something else. I've got a bottle here of a Stampin' Mist, and I'm just going to tie my knot around that bottle, and then I can manipulate it and make it look pretty. Okay. Bring in some scissors. We're going to snip that off. Snip this side off too. And then we're going to lay it on our card to cover the seam. So I'm going to put my knot about right here. So I'm going to bring up my paper, my ribbon, cut the hole, cut the loop, and then we're going to attach it with some Scotch tape. So we're just going to make sure that we're covering the seam. So you can see I've got that right in the center. Bring it along and then attach it to the back with the Scotch tape. Pull that nice and taut. Bring it around to the back. And I will do the same thing. So now my ribbon is nice and tight on the front of my card. And there we have it. So then we're going to adhere this to our piece of Pretty Peacock. And when I emboss something, I still like to use our liquid glue. I know we have our seal, and while it is amazing, I just find I have better luck applying the adhesive if I use my liquid glue. And now you do want to make sure that you get the majority of the area covered, because when you've embossed something, it doesn't always like to stick. Okay, we're going to try to get that nice and centered, press that into place, and there we have it. So the final thing we're going to do is we're going to get a sentiment. So I'm going to cut myself a 3/4 inch strip of very vanilla cardstock. There we go. I have my sentiment from the stamp set. This one says, "I'm so glad you're in my life." We're going to bring in some Pretty Peacock ink. And we'll just ink that up. And we'll stamp that. There we go. Close the ink so we don't have any mishaps. And then I'm going to bring in our new Banners Pick-a-Punch. This is from our holiday catalog. And this can take strips of paper that are 1/2 inch, 3/4, or 1 inch wide. Well, this is 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that into the track. Oh, you got to open it up first. We're going to punch that off. And I think I'm going to go again. I have quite a bit of excess cardstock here, so we're just going to keep snipping it until we have what we want. And that looks good. So we're just going to add this to the front of the card. Again, with some glue, since we're putting it over something that's embossed. And then I will snip off the excess. There we go. And there we have it. Now, sometimes you might get little bits of glue on your metallic cardstock. Never fear, just get a piece of tissue and you can just rub most of that off. I'm just kind of gently in a circular motion doing some rubbing here to get that to come off. All right, and there we have it. Now I do have some others, like I said, because I did pull, so these two were the same, and then this one and this one, because I did do all of the die cutting. I put all the leaves on Bumblebee, all the leaves on Crushed or Cajun Craze, and all the leaves on the Pretty Peacock. These two have the copper foil, the copper metallic cardstock. This one has the gold. And I just think they're all really neat. And I did put the sentiments on in different ways just because I thought that would be kind of cool. So all my participants in my class are going to get one of these cards plus the instruction card in the mail. I'll be mailing these out in just a few days. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or need anything, let me know. Please give my video a thumbs up if you'd enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel right down here in the corner. And then be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified by YouTube when I upload new videos. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.